Hello, hello, and welcome to another update video on Ethereum. So I am starting here on the daily chart for Ethereum. Just wanted to take a moment to talk to you about the larger time frame here, just because I believe always it's important to remind ourselves of the, let's say, of the relevant levels on the larger time frame, the outlook, not to get too confused or sucked into the micro patterns. And then people think that, let's say, if we break below a micro support level, for example, everything's lost or the trend is breaking. Well, it's true, it might break the trend on the 15-minute chart or 30-minute chart, but it doesn't necessarily break the overall wave count, overall structure. At the same time, I believe it's important to understand a lot about the larger time frame, just simply because on the larger time frame, the larger time frame basically dictates how the smaller time frame wave counts should play out, which wave counts are valid. So that is all very, very crucial, very important. So looking at the bigger picture here, I mean, you might know it from previous updates. The idea is that the B wave has bottomed here on the 22nd of June, and that we're now moving higher here in the C wave, and that can take us to like $4,500 to $5,000 or so. So I talked about the larger time frame a lot, also on our, you could say, sister channel, MCO Global. You can check that out as well if you're interested. But I covered the larger chart, larger time frame, and the bigger picture quite a few times there. And this still shows us that there is a case to be made for a bullish outcome here on the larger time frame. But that being said, the overall bigger picture, larger time frame structure is quite messy, remains quite messy, because we're not dealing with impulsive structures. We're dealing with a diagonal structure, and this fifth wave to the upside can be classed as an ABC structure. So we're tracking here an ABC structure to the upside, and the current idea is that a B wave bottomed on the 22nd of June. Now, that being said, it's still possible that the B wave is unfolding. Okay, that is why the support area here on this time frame remains untouched. So I don't want to change it, because we still need to be aware of what is the relevant main support area that keeps the bull market alive, also for Ethereum. And it's the same one, because B waves can overshoot. So I cannot rule out that this is still a B wave for now. When will that become less likely? It will become less likely if the price breaks above the 138% retracement, because that is technically a very, very strong resistance level. And in this case, it's coming in at $3,230. So any break above it, if it's a decisive break, will reduce the risk of falling back into this support area. They are just levels like, market sentiment, essentially. They are related to market sentiment, mathematical representations of market sentiment. That's like how I like to call these Fibonacci levels. And as long as we hold below 3,230, the risk kind of is there that we could fall back, but it's not necessarily the preferred interpretation, because that B wave pullback was deep enough. It reached our support area, and as you probably know if you've been following my work, once these support areas are reached, then the price can bounce and develop an impulse to the upside. Like this C wave actually might be an impulse, not the larger time frame, but the C wave, and we can go. So good for those who took action and entered in the box, but please note the risk is still there, and there might be another opportunity for those who were hesitating and wanted to get in but didn't. And but the momentum on the smaller time frame is up. So what I want to show you on the larger time frame is, which level now needs to be broken to the downside to confirm that we're probably heading back into the support area. I mean, there are no guarantees, but there is a level that allows us to understand what the, let's say, what the short term, the short term uptrend, is it still holding or not? And that level is important to understand. So let us take a look at the smaller time frame. This is the short term chart, and you can see that the market is still holding above the breakout point. So this is kind of the direct pathway higher that we are tracking also on the smaller time frame. Shows us a rally that could take us next to around about $3,400 in circle wave 3. But what is more important than here understanding really about the nanostructures is what is actually the support that keeps the trend alive? What is the support? Because in this direct move to the upside that you see in yellow on the chart, we're tracking an impulse. And an impulse, normally when we're tracking that, it's the 50% retracement of the currently running third wave that is support. And on this chart, you can see it on the chart in the orange box. So some people don't fully understand the concept of support, but let me explain it. They are basically the parameters, especially the lower boundary, that the parameters that keep this trend alive. So that means whether I have a label here as a completed wave 4 or not, that is not so important. While I show this as finished wave 4, it could easily still dip into the support area. So they are just labels, right? So as long as we are holding above support, whether we test it again or not, the concept of an upside impulse remains alive. Yeah, we might reset wave 4, but as I said, this is just a label, right? This is more about the trend, understanding the trend. And the trend is not defined by the labels. The trend is defined by the boxes, the areas, the zones of interest. And the price so far is holding support. Doesn't mean we have to test it. Just means that we shouldn't break below support. So that is where that 50% retracement level comes in and is so important. Yeah. So what we want is that the price doesn't break below the 2,740 level, at least to keep the uptrend intact. Now, some of you might want to have a deeper pullback. So that is where it becomes more probable that a top is in, if we break below that level, actually. And for now, we're holding above it, way above it, actually. So, the trend remains up for now. And the focus is on the next upside Fibonacci extension targets here, 3,139 to 3,294. This is an upside target zone for internal wave 5 of 3. So if we don't get there and pull back, while it could already be this wave 4, at the moment I'd be inclined to call it still the internal wave 4 because we haven't reached that next upside target zone yet. It's just levels to watch to help us understand where we are, because if we haven't even reached, let's say, an ideal target for that internal third wave, or let's say wave 5 of 3, then when we pull back, it might be that we have not even finished this fifth wave. So this is support, essentially. We're also holding above the previous breakout point here. Price broke out above this key level on the 10th of July. This level is located at 2,880, and this is probably let's say a structural support level that is also important, right? We're holding above that right now, and we might never go below, at least not now. Might not go below it. So testing support again is possible, but there might be some additional structural support. And we haven't exactly tested that level yet. That's the update on Ethereum. I hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Also, make sure to follow us on Twitter, on X, formerly Twitter. There you can find additional updates, additional insights, shared frequently. So I don't know what that was. Check it out. You'll find it linked in the video description and in our comment section. I recommend you at least check it out if you want to have more insights, more updates. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.